Hey guys, it's B here and welcome back to the main phase. Today I'm bringing you another Master Duel deck profile. As you may know, the Link Regulation event is coming up, and this deck is perfect for that. This deck currently requires no craft, so you won't need to waste any UR dust or SR dust on it. So before we get into the deck, as a reminder, you can join Rewrite format in the description below. It's a custom alt format which has an updating card pull every few months. And we host tournaments every week, and of course you should subscribe. We're trying to aim for 150 subscribers by the end of the year. It's not very high, it's not very wide goal, but it's good enough to go for. So the deck we're going to dive into today is World Chalice. So World Chalice is actually a deck you can get from the story mode in Master Duel. So if you complete the story mode, you'll eventually unlock this one, and you can get all the cards for this from either the story mode, or the bundle deals, or just general playing, or the ends and R's, which you can just craft. Okay, so this deck is focused on link summoning, obviously, because it's the Link Festival. All the extra deck monsters, all the links, have the effect where if they're sent to the graveyard, you can summon a World Chalice monster from your hand, and this sort of lets you generically extend from hand to get more and more monsters out, and then go into your better link monsters like Ningirsu. So let's get into the card by card. So we've got 3 chosen by the World Chalice and 3 beckoned by the World Chalice. Both of these are normal monsters, so they don't have any effect, but they're useful because you have to use them to make Imduk, and also they can be summoned off Unexpected Dai. The use of these is awkward, so you don't want to run too many. So I think 6 is a fine number. You could probably up it to 7 and without many issues, but I think 6 is fine. Then we've got 3 World Chalice Guardragon. This card is quite good. The hand effect is very meh, but the grave effect, where you can just banish it to revive a normal monster to a zone a link monster points to, is so good, because it just means that you can keep on extending, and that can mean that you can end on maybe a draw 2, which is quite powerful. We've got 3 Lee. Lee searches any World Chalice on summon, which is quite powerful. It means that you can get to stuff like your World Legacy World Chalice, and even stuff like Guardragon much more consistently. Plus, it has another effect where in the end phase you can send a monster, not from the end phase, but you can send a monster from your hand or field to graveyard, hand it back, which means that on your next turn you can use it again. We've got 1 Ash. This is just from the bundle. This card's great. If you don't have 3, you should get 3. It's just super worth playing. We've got 3 World Legacy World Chalice. This is a tribute summon monster, so it has issues in that regard, but you can bypass it to a certain extent if you have this and you have a normal monster, because you can summon Imduk, and then you can tribute the Imduk. The Imduk will let you get another normal summon, and you contribute it to summon out the World Chalice. And then the World Chalice's effect means that if it's sent to the graveyard itself, you can summon 2 World Chalice monsters from your deck. This is really good because it means that you can get stuff like Guardragon out of your deck if you don't open it, and same with Lee, which then will search because it's been special summoned. It also has 2 other effects. The effect when it's on the field is that you can tribute it to send a monster that's special summoned from the extract to the graveyard. This is good on your end board. It's not amazing because a lot of the time you can't actually afford to set it up. But if you can set it up, then having it on your end board is just a really good way to just be able to interrupt your opponent, really. Plus, during your main phase, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it, and then you can add any World Legacy card from your deck to your hand. This can be the World Legacy's Heart. This is a really good card. It's just for follow-ups. Same with the World Legacy Succession. Then we've got 1 World Lance. I'm running this as a search target off the World Chalice. It's quite a good battle trap, but other than that, it's not amazing. Being able to honestly, it just basically means that your opponent can't survive that battle. I guess if they had 5,500 attack, they could, but they're not going to, so it's fine. 1 Nibiru, again, it's from the bundles. Craft multiple copies of this if you haven't already. I haven't, so what am I saying? But it's just a good card. It's just a really good card. 1 Raigeki, just another good staple. You get this from the starting missions, so it's worth playing, obviously. Monster Reborn, again, just a good generic card, extension, same things as this. Unexpected Dai is a really good extender. You can just summon a normal monster from your deck without having to control any monsters, which means you can save your normal summon for something like a World Chalice or a Lee, and then you can keep going from there. World Legacy's Heart is really good. It protects your link monsters if they're linked, which means that on your end board you can have a bit more security with your Ningirsu and your Ib. Plus, being able to add 2 cards with different names back means that you have such a much better time on your turns after your turn 1, where you can just keep on adding cards back and then keep on link summoning and just keep on going. We've got 1 World Legacy Succession. This is another search target for the World Chalice, but it's also just a good extender if you just draw it. It's just basically another Monster Reborn, but for monsters where the link monster points to it. 1 Lightning Storm. This is also from the bundle. I don't think it's as good as the other bundle cards, but just having it as an option is just really good. And if you don't have cards from the other bundles, then it's just a good card to just have overall. We've got 3 MST. MST is just a solid card. Just being able to destroy a back row. Of course, there's better options. Cosmic Cyclone's a good one. Harpy's Feather Duster, Twin Twisters. But if you're on a budget and you really don't want to craft anything, then you've got this as an option. Same with with Forbidden Chalice. It's just a good negate. There obviously you could run stuff like Effect Veil or more impermanences, but like it's a fine option on its own. We've got 1 Droplet. Again, this is from the bundle deals, so it's just a good option to be able to negate your opponent's board. This is another card you might want to craft more of. We've got 3 World Legacy Struggle. This is sort of like an interruption piece. There are other options you could run, I guess, like Torrential, for example, is quite good. But I like this because if your natural end board ends on 2 co-linked monsters, so this could be like Pop 2, sort of like a Twin Twisters, effectively, but like it's searchable by Chalice. 1 Impermanence and 1 Solemn Judgment. Both of these are just strong negation traps. You can just run them to deal with your opponent's stuff, and they're both from the bundle, so you have access to them. Then onto the extra, we've got 1 Link Spider. This is from I believe this is from like the starting deck, or it's from the missions that you can do. It's just a solid monster. You can just summon just summon a normal monster from hand. This is important because it's another Link 1 you can make, and you often need to make a Link 1 to go into the Ningirsu, so you don't always want to waste up an Imduk. 3 Imduk. Imduk's great. It just gives you an extra normal summon, plus it has a niche effect where it can remove a opponent's monster if it battles it and it's pointing to it. Of course, it has the same effect as all the other World Chalice monsters. We've got 3 Ib. Ib's a piece of your end board. Basically, it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects while it's linked, and it protects the monster that it's linked to from being destroyed by card effects. By sending itself, which is like, it gives you a bit more protection on your Ningirsu on the end board, which is like means that you have a better time going first. We've got 3 Auram. Auram's probably the weakest link monster, I think, but it's really good in your combos. Basically, it gains attack for each World Legacy monster in your graveyard, so in this deck at least that would be maximum of 2600 with the Lance and the Chalice. And you contribute a World Chalice to revive another monster. This can do stuff that's quite cool, like reviving a Lance or a Nibiru. But more often than not, you're just using this and then for its last effect to summon another from hand by linking it off, and then that'll come up in your combos. Then we've got 1 Decode Talker. Decode Talker is just a generic good link monster. It's got protection if you tribute another monster, and it's free. There are definitely things that I'd run over this, but for a generic good monster, it's quite a good option. We've got 3 Ningirsu. This is the deck's best link monster, in my opinion. It basically, when you summon it, it draws a card for each monster it points to. This is really good because it means that you can draw potentially 2 cards with your main combos. I guess 3 technically, but that's not as likely. And its second effect lets you send 1 card on each player's field to the graveyard, and this doesn't target or destroy, which means that it can out some really nasty stuff. Plus, because it doesn't target, they don't know what you're destroying until you activate it, so they can't really respond to it. Respond to what you chose, basically. And then lastly, we're running 1 Rasterliger. This card's not amazing, but because it's a generic link and because it's free through like the starter deck you get, it's quite useful. Just being able to make it generically with just any 2 monsters is quite good. Like, as in, well, not obviously any 2, but like a link 3 and a 1 or a 2 link 2s. and being able to target a Ningirsu engrave to get 4,500 attack means that it can beat over a lot of things that otherwise you might have trouble beating over. Plus, it being able to tribute stuff can be good for removal. So that's it for the main deck. I believe this is all fine. Let's just get into the upgrades. So I've got a few upgrades that are like not necessarily like as budget friendly, but like they're fine if you really just want to upgrade the deck a bit. Okay, so we've got 3 Rescue Rabbits. So Rescue Rabbit's quite good. You can use it to get 2 normal monsters out, so like Unexpected Dai, but more. It's quite a bad Ash target, so like if this gets Ash, you might have a bit of issues. But I think it's just quite a good card if in this deck specifically. Then we've got the Nightmare monsters. These all care about being co-linked, which is quite good with the World Chalice monsters because they all have good arrows for co-link shenanigans. These also are just generically good link monsters, which are quite easy to make, so I think they're a very good consideration. If you're leaning more into the co-link angle, Tri-Gate Wizard's quite useful. If you set it up with multiple co-links, which could be like a Link Spider and then 2 Ibs, it can be a negate. Plus, it can just remove things every turn, which is good enough on its own a lot of the time. And lastly, we've got Access Code and Underworld Goddess. These are both just generic links. You probably should own them generally, like sort of like an Ash. But I think that they're particularly good in this deck. Underworld Goddess can take advantage of the fact that you can just split a bunch of creatures onto the field, which can just be good. And then Access Code, obviously, all your monsters are different attributes, so you can potentially destroy 3 cards with Access Code just on its own, which can just be very useful. Okay, so I'm just going to throw us right into a duel that I played with this deck, and we'll just commentate that duel to show you what the deck can do. Alright, so let's get into this duel. So this duel was against Generators, which are like not necessarily a meta deck, but like they're okay. They're okay. Dai is going to be pissed at that. I'm joking. Dai won't watch this video. Anyway, so this hand was really bad, honestly, until we got the draw. So he activates Generator boss stage, and they summon Lopped here. This hand is kind of crazy for Generators because we can set up 2 interruptions with the Nidhogg and the Whore. I think no the Ha. Yeah, with the Ha and the Nidhogg. Were the thing, but I have 2 Chalice in my hand, so I can just negate both of the Chalices, which is just really powerful. So we're just going to negate both of those monsters. This basically puts them in a situation where they can't really, negate off plays, but they still have like a board that's really obnoxious to deal with because it's still just a bunch of big monsters. And this deck doesn't actually have that easy of a time beating over big beast decks. So we're going to go into the Imduk with the monster we summoned off Unexpected Dai. We're just going to keep on extending. Of course, the whole basic combo of the deck is to try and get a draw 2, which is by linking off a World Chalice into the Ningirsu, already pointing to an Ib, and then summoning another monster from hand, pointing to the other zone of the Ningirsu. Sort of like in the combo in Duel Links. So we're going to use the World Chalice to summon out 2 monsters from deck. So we go into the Ib here, and then we revive another monster with the Ib's effect. Not the Ib, the World Chalice Guardragon's effect. So this gives us basically. So what this will let us do is that we go into the other Link monster. So we're just going to go into another Imduk here. But you could also go into you could also go into Link Spider if you don't feel like you might use the Imduk later. So then you go into the Ningirsu, and because of the effect of the Imduk and the Auram engrave, in this case we use the Imduk, we can summon out the Ningirsu from hand, and we can draw 2 cards. So we're going to use the Ningirsu just to pop the heart, and then we can go into the Rasterliger. And while this card's not amazing, what we can do with it in here is that we can summon another monster from hand using Ningirsu's effect, and use the Rasterliger to gain 2,500 attack and pop the boss stage, which if they had the boss stage for the next turn, that could lead to big issues because they can summon another monster when it comes back to our turn. So they're going to actually go into Gold Fakes here, which is really weird because I don't really think that Nordic Generators is that good, but like it's an interesting deck idea. And then they do the thing with the Link where they summon out a big Aesir monster. it's a bit scary, but like all they do is out the Rasterliger, which isn't the end of the world. So we draw into the World Legacy's Heart. This is quite a good follow-up because it just means that we can get a bunch of monsters into our hand. And he doesn't have any negates because he has no cards in hand, so he can't have a hand trap. So we just keep combo off here. Go into the Chalice and the search the lands. So we make a link to here, I believe. Yeah, we make the Auram here. This lets us summon another monster from hand with the Ibs effect. And then we can use that to go into the Imduk. And now with the Imduk, it obviously gives us an extra normal summon, which then means that we can summon the World Chalice from hand, and that because that's been normal summoned or set, it'll have the effect where it's sent to the graveyard. It'll summon 2 from deck, which that means we can get that draw 2 again with the effect of Ningirsu. But of course, we don't need to link off the Auram here. We can just keep the Auram around and have 3 monsters on field, which is a better situation than before, where because we only had 2 monsters on field, it led to some issues. Now I did make a minor misplay here. I should have used Ningirsu's effect to send the Odin to graveyard instead of using it to just send the link to the graveyard. This is important because it means that he can revive the Odin next turn, but we do a little bit more damage with Auram here, which is it's not really that important, but pass it over to his turn. He gets to revive the Odin, and that gives him the opportunity to draw another card, which is a bit unfortunate. So yeah, he draws a card from Odin, and he draws another card for turn. And I believe he draws another boss stage, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he does. So this is going to allow him to get another Har out next turn. Of course, we can protect it with the World Legacy's Heart, which is another good use of that card. So we draw into Raigeki. This is a really good card against this deck specifically because of while the Har can negate, without other than the Har's negate, we can just like Raigeki it. So we bait out the Har negate by using Ningirsu, and we send the Ib to prevent his destruction. We set the Lee because if we normal summon the Lee and added a card, then Har would be able to send a card from our hand to the graveyard. So we just swing him thing for game. So that game gives us a bit of a good idea of how the deck combos, in my opinion. So thanks for watching. As I said before, you can always join Rewrite Format in the description below, and you can always subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope I'm gonna actually try and upload weekly from now on. Bi-weekly. Like I'm gonna upload multiple times a week. So stay tuned. This video was a bit like casual, but like I'm gonna try and be a bit more professional from now on. So thank you and bye.